Hello, souls. Eileen here. It's Sunday, June 7th, 2020, that I'm recording this. I'm feeling all of you. I really want you to know that I'm seeing you more and I'm understanding more what this process is that let's say the star seeds, light workers, experiencers, I've been receiving a lot more clarity about what the hell we're doing here and why it hasn't made a whole lot of sense. So bear with me as I do my best to translate pure essence from source. This is what I have always suspected that I was translating through my self, from myself into this lower matrix reality. That's quite a stretch for translation. And some of us have this kind of translation as our work and service. But I'm going to get more into what I was shown as a framework, a way to frame this, but understand that now at this time things are moving and changing so fast that we can't attach to frameworks, we can't attach to knowledge and wisdom the way it was framed in the old world. Even though, truth resonates throughout all dimensions, but the higher dimensions do not require translation. But for those souls like myself that came here to reach people who will hear my voice and my tones and feel this resonant connection with me. Other seeds, other souls who came here to be of service in the ways they did, they're vibrating in a different bandwidth. And therefore, they translate it through the filters of that bandwidth. And they reach the people who are in that bandwidth and receptive to knowing more, receptive to learning, receptive to, okay, so this isn't just all there is, right? So we come here with our specific inspirations, our specific, let's say, missions, and we basically dig in to that layer of the sediment where we're going to grow into and learn and adapt to that layer of sediment, even though we are aware that we are from many different places, many different tributaries that flow into this life, and for this particular great awakening, if you will, or great transformation, the shift between worlds at this 26,000 year mark of the precession of the equinox, the Mayan calendar, Hopi calendar, Vedic calendar. We are here to be of service in the ways that we are the most oriented to. We come from a lot of different approaches. And one of the messages, before I forget, that came in the downloads this morning and the visions was, please, please, please do not compare yourself to other starseeds, light workers, experiencers. And because it's basically pointless. If we start trying to compare, you know, what I say to my people that receive inspiration from me and encouragement from me in the ways that I offer, if we try to compare that to another way that people do it, another way that people translate essence, and from a completely different layer of the earth sediment. Sorry, I didn't explain that. I should have explained. Things are getting so less linear now. I'm describing like the sediment in the earth when you see the side of a mountain, and it shows the different layers of sediment. Some of us are living and operating on different layers of this sediment. Therefore, we have different interpretations, different translations, and a different kind of grouping of souls that resonate with what we do. So let me back up now after saying that. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing, because it's like I jumped in the middle instead of at the beginning. I have been working really hard and busy in my dreams. I've been having profound dreaming and dream messages. I have also been getting the synchronicities and the guidance that just, it's almost like, wait, whoa, what world am I in now? See, that's what it feels like to me. I am not in Kansas anymore. And so I've been dialoguing with this internal presence and voice. And this morning I did that again, as I usually do on Sunday mornings. And I said, I'm aware that we're changing really, really fast. And I'm aware that I'm aware of different things, and I speak different things than others that I'm meeting that have this, no matter what kind of background or term they use to describe themselves, like experiencer, light worker, starseed. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. If you feel like you're here to help and you've had that evidence and that guidance, then that's, true. That's true. If that is what you feel strongly. A lot of us feel like I am not from here. At stages in my life, I felt like I wasn't from here. But then as I grew older, I realized, oh my God, I am from here. Because Mother Earth is assisting us in bringing all of these pieces back together again. All of these different timelines, all of these different histories, our stories, that comes with our wounding from these experiences, and these pieces and fragments of ourselves that are strewn here like pottery shards embedded in the earth. They showed that piece to me years ago, and it was like, oh, it makes so much sense. And we have these connections, let's say these familial connections to to off planet, which we find we resonate with so strongly. And it's like, wow, I must have been a Pleiadian. I must be a Pleiadian. I must be from Sirius or Andromeda. And that's all very valid, depending on what layer of the sediment you are viewing all of this reality from. So we'll set that aside right there. And I'll keep trying to be linear here. So we all have this joint mission to embed ourselves into, so just imagine like, those ant farms where you can see the tunnels and, how all the ants are working, and it's, like this side cut view where you can, witness and see through the glass everything that's happening underground. This is where they started the vision for me. They showed me not ants, but that we literally are these seeds that embed in the soil of this Earth 3D reality. And we were planted here, and it is the design for all of us to be born and live the same kind of human lives in the same conditions, let's say, obviously varying conditions, but we're all here as a global citizen of Earth. And we grow up within our own families and environments, and we have our own specific conditioning, and we have our own specific intentions overall for being here. And again, we all vibrate and work, even though we know ourselves as connected to all in source. We each have this, I'm going to, work in this layer of sediment. I'm going here to work in this one. I'm going to be traversing 4 or 5. So everybody has a different kind of focus, okay? Some of us don't make it. And I think you all, if you're with me still and you understand what I'm talking about and translating here, some of us don't make it. It's just too hard. And circumstances maybe shifted. People made choices in the family that didn't, that threw off the trajectory or the inspiration for that particular seed. And there isn't anything to feel bad about or ashamed that you didn't fulfill that. It's all a co-created path. And it isn't just every seed for themselves. It's a lot of conditions and environment that must be met, just like a flower seed or a carrot seed or potato or tomatoes. All of those conditions must be met for it to grow into its full manifestation and purpose. So what happens when we wake up, which a lot of us have done so over the years, we were waking up, getting taken through these kinds of experiences and these events where eventually we woke up and let's say, I've used the term, we came back online. We remembered to a degree, oh my God, this is such a strange place, and I must be here to do something. I love healing. I love, you just start to discover yourself and unravel yourself and value yourself. That's all part of the process, because we're here to help others do that. So we're a little bit ahead of the curve here. Someone told me that, or I actually was part of interviewing. I was on a production team interviewing Dolores Cannon. And I don't remember if this is what we ended up capturing in the interview, but she's been known to speak about the first wave, second wave, third wave. I'm not even sure how many waves. And when I was listening to it, I was like, that makes sense. That really does make sense. So, some of us have been here longer than others. And we kind of high five and celebrate when we meet each other, because it was a very, very hard life, very challenging lives. I have not met a one where life was just a breeze, for this kind of focused intention and spiritual work. So some of us then we're buried here, and when we come back online. They showed me in my mind's eye that it's like this big light explosion. I still see this through the side of the ant farm, and see this large explosion under the earth, and now we have a gold ball of light. A seed has come online, okay? And it starts to communicate with source that it is awake. And this is just done through energy and essence. This isn't, hey, source, I'm online. Can you start giving me downloads? That kind of thing. It just happens. And then what also happens is the more that you come online, the more aware you get. They showed me that these rooms of light start to push up and out a tunnel of light to the surface. So you know how we always hear about anchoring the light? This is another way to see this, or an enhanced way to see this. So when we come online and we continue to move forward and we use our gifts and we start to communicate with people, they start coming into this room, this glowing gold light room, and then tunnel. And so we are moving through that tunnel, and we're bringing these souls that somehow fall into the room from the density of the sediment of the soil. So imagine these shards of pottery that are embedded in the earth. And these are the shards that are like, they don't know who they are and what they belong to. They don't feel whole. They don't feel like they have an identity. And so when we start to speak about these things, as strange as it might sound to these fragments, they're drawn to it because there's something in the energy, there's something in the tones of our voice, there's something that brings these souls into this gold room and tunnel of light. So, and then again, we're all working with different kinds of inspirations and intentions. And this starts to make more sense the more you come online and you start directly dialoguing with source, with your guides, with your angels. At a certain point, there's such a beautiful blend that occurs at a certain stage of your your mission, so to speak, where you realize that you have done so much work and you have been so willing to work through all of the pain, all of the wounding with yourself first, and then you extend yourself to help others work through this and transcend this pain and this wounding. What I have recently become aware of is this is the divine feminine. This is the mother's work. This is the mother's spiritual work. And it's why it sounds, I feel this is why it sounds so foreign to people, and they're not quite sure what to do with this kind of work, this mostly trauma or emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, coming back online with the feminine part of our consciousness that we have that is also buried here. It's buried in the earth with the fragments. And I love these visions and symbols that they show me, because it makes so much sense to me, the way that the way the visions are. And I hope that I'm articulating it well enough for you. This is not an easy translation. All I can do is go with the images they show me and then translate the feelings the best I can. Because this source essence does not obviously communicate in words. So the mother is here, and she wants to be, I don't know if rescue is the right word, but she wants, let's say, restored. She wants to be restored as we bring these fragments together back into the whole. They begin to understand that the reason why they're fragmented is because they lost their connection to the mother. And a lot of people think that there are, and I've even talked about it, there are dark forces. I'm not saying there's not dark forces, but I want to really point out and emphasize here that these dark forces cannot control you and manipulate you. Don't give them that power, because all they can do is slip through your cracks in your level of awareness and understanding. And they take these opportunities to jump into these spaces where you're unaware of your power and unaware of how connected you could be. In fact, that's why everything's amping up now so much, because this is like a last desperate attempt to grab you and keep you for their intention for humanity. There's so many things I could talk about, because this is how downloads come in. It's like it's so layered, multi-layered, multi-dimensional data that I have to go here and then talk about that, and then I pull it from here, and then there's that piece, and it all goes together, and it's so huge, it's infinite. It's hard for me sometimes to remember which sediment I am speaking through, because we're talking about source. Source is all. Source is that pure divine love. It doesn't need language. It doesn't need translating. But a lot of the seeds, like myself, and I don't call myself that, I'm just translating. A lot of the ones who came here to be of service and to help people remember who they are, they they are connected to that source. And depending on their particular intention and path, they will not always need all the information or be exposed to all of it. They're given sometimes very specific work. Like I was even shown in this morning's vision that, a lot of the healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, people who are in service to, keeping humanity together, working in the food industries, farming, working in a wide variety of human connection, human survival type services. There are a lot of seeds doing this. Now they may not know, or they may not even have an interest in spiritual stuff. They're very, very focused on who they are and what they're here to do. And they don't need to know all this stuff. They're just being and doing who they are. But for some of us who had to be brought online over time, are what you would term the experiencers. So, they get the visits, they get the weird, what the hell was that? Your mind is blown, your hard drive wiped out, your worldview completely changed repeatedly, so that you could get to this place now where you can be available to people on all these levels and support them as they wake up, these shards, and you start inviting them into, or they're attracted into, this gold light that you have created by coming online with Source while your feet are planted on the earth. So what's happening now? They also showed me, and I even just Googled it a few minutes ago, it's not unlike like these teams. We have teams of people here on Earth planted to bring the fragments in and to do this great awakening healing of all of these pieces of who we are, and bring it back, fuse that back into the mother, into the vase, the vase, and then it's here and ready to connect with the cosmos, the light, the Father, the light. And that is when this igniting happens. And this is when that marriage happens again between masculine, feminine, father, mother. And this is when the new divine being can be born. This birth cannot take place unless we bring ourselves back into this wholeness again. And we are all doing this together. What else? So I was feeling like, okay, something's up. I'm not talking about what's happening out in the world. There is a whole lot that's up out in the world right now. I'm very well aware of that. I just posted a blog post yesterday about tell them about the mother. And she's been coming to me all throughout my life. And it would come, and then I'd go, okay, that's weird. What is happening? Reject it. It'd come back in, reject it. So as I put myself back together again, that's when my light shines brighter. And then I can be, and so many others here can be a beacon for these other fragments to find this light. Okay. So what's happening right now? The rage is coming out, the shadow, everything that must be cleared before this wedding can take place and obviously before the birth can take place. All of this has to come back together again. So what's happening now is movement is taking place. We are fully in this shift. I mean, if you had, a lot of you are going to go, yeah, duh. But it's moving. We are moving, lifting into this new birth. Now, my source says this is not about bringing this pure essence knowing down into these words that have always been used in spirituality. This essence does not fit in the old world context at all. So what's happening now is it's important for you to know to be, to hold all of this light that you are, be available, continue being available for those who come to you for healing and inspiration and guidance about what's happening. But also know that we're lifting. And this is what's creating so much increased chaos right now, is people can sense that this giant liftoff, this Mother Earth ship is starting to move. And so there's this acceleration and this flurry to get the rage out, all the rage, all the, in the wounds, like a boil or, that needs to be lanced. All of the sickness, the pus, the ugliness is coming up and out for us to fully see so that we can fully heal it. We cannot heal what is hidden. And that is whatever's hidden is like a lie. And wherever there's lies, you cannot grow, you cannot expand. So it sounds strange, but everything that's happening right now is of course happening and should be happening. And I have tried to encourage people in this that, that the violence isn't necessary, but please rage and rage and rage. You don't have to destroy stuff. Just express that rage and do it by yourself, do it together, because the more that you do that, the greater chances there are for more fragments to come back together and to be lifted into a higher vibrational existence. We are transcending this old reality, this limited reality. Let me see if there's anything else. I have notes here. One sec. When I come out of these visions and downloads, I just sit and I just close my eyes and type, and some of it might not be as legible as other pieces of it. A wide variety of seeds came here to work in a variety of layers, so I did talk about that. There are some who, they showed me to look up the team of when the coal miners get trapped, they send in a team. And I didn't know anything about this, but they said, look up how the teams work to do a rescue. And And so there is an image online, and maybe I'll just edit this really quickly, this video, so I can add that picture. There's a team, they're all roped together, and each of them has a very specific mission as they go down to rescue the coal miners. And they said that isn't too different from what we're doing as light workers. We're on a mission. This is a rescue for those souls who are ready to move on to this greater way of being. And they can't do it without the entire team. So there's these teams of that are rescuers on Earth that are also, imagine, they showed this to me a while back. Each of those on the rescue team here is also tethered to the, the angelic realm, and all these higher dimensional beings that all connect through this universal or unified field. And that's how we get the data that we need, is these downloads and these synchronicities that occur for us, where we go, oh, and then we go, okay, now I'm going to move in this direction because I got that insight. I got help from the surface, because when you're down in the hole, you have such a small context. You're in the cave. You're like, oh, I don't remember how source works. I don't remember why I'm doing this anymore. All I see when I turn is just sediment all around me. And so that's why we need the tethering to the, let's say, angelic realm as well. And don't make comparisons to each other. Light workers, we all have a different kind of mission, and we all work with the different layers, the different, in the bandwidth of this 3D Earth reality. There's like a spectrum of consciousness, and we each kind of zero in on who we're going to reach out to or broadcast this light to, so people start to come and say, I need help, or something's wrong. I had this dream, or whatever the case may be, that they're needing that help and support and reflection. So the other part of it is, translations are different for each layer of sediment that you're working in. So you can't compare translations of source and essence and what the angels say and the channelings and all of that. We're not all translating to the same layers. And this is lifting off now. Don't identify, be very aware that you don't start identifying with what you were trapped within. Let it go. Let everything be essence now as much as possible. If you're attached to anything, even if it's, but this is the spiritual work that I've always done, and this is who I am, and I don't want to change that, or whatever you're digging your heels in about, we are moving. We are rising. And it's important that you let go of the rigid attachments to persons, places, and things here. And that also has, I'm also speaking to the way that you always did your light work before. Even that is changing. So you must be open right now to guidance, to essence, to be fed and informed. It's okay not to know anything right now. It's okay not to have, the map, the detailed map in front of you. We knew ahead of time that this was going to be a time where um, there's nothing set in stone about how this is going to go. A lot of intention, a lot of love, a lot of support, but we're doing this, we're making this up as we go. And we're responding to our source, we're responding to the fragments in the earth that we're collecting. And now what's different is it is done. And then I was asking, is that death? Am I going to die? Does it look like a lot of people die? What does this look like? And it's like, don't even try and translate it. The more you try and translate it, you're looking in the wrong direction. Don't translate to these lower density layers anymore. Turn in the direction of source, turn in the direction of the surface, and be willing to rise with this love that is lifting us up from all layers, all dimensions above us. This is the restoration of the divine feminine. This is what we came to do. The Divine Mother, the earth, the soul within us has been almost severed. At this stage, it was getting to a point where, and it still is kind of at a point where, is this even worth following through with? And by saying, is it worth it? It's, there is the potential to just transform everything. Just go, okay. Transform Earth, transform all life on it, obviously, when you transform Earth. But my sense of it now is that we've reached kind of this critical mass of souls who are coming online, and more are coming online very rapidly now through this accelerated, chaotic time. And the more rage that's expressed, the more the mother has room to move and breathe. This is the mother trapped inside that cannot breathe. This is the mother trapped inside that has no voice. And this is the symbology that we have seen recently, the absolute trigger point. And my heart goes out to the family of George Floyd, family, friends, and also my gratitude for your service in being willing to be this human being, this single point, and also the officers who participated in this event. This needed to happen to be the trigger, the match that was lit, and now so many people are questioning, why are people just so mad about just this one thing? And it's like, come on, back up a little and look at the big picture. Not only the history of the Black people and the dark-skinned people in our country and the whole world, but also the deeper histories of this severing with the mother, the divine mother, severing of the soul. We are going to move forward with soul. We have rescued our soul. And we're putting it all back together again into the oneness now. So that's what's changed. I could not put my finger on it, so to speak. I could not articulate. You know, it's like I sense energy. I'm really sensitive to energy. So like, it's like, whoa, something's happened here. Something's changed. What is it? And then it takes me a while to really get to, we're not doing that anymore. Now we're here. And now the movement is expansion. So congratulations. We have never been closer and have never had more of an opportunity to rise now into our wholeness. And it isn't like, yay, we did it, it's a done deal. No, it's still moment by moment, but we're moving into expansion now. Some people may freak out and say, no, I'm not going in that direction. I'd rather take my chances with, I want to be here for the election, or I want, whatever the case may be, where you're invested in something in the old context, in the old world. And that's why they were cautioning, if you're expanding now, be very mindful of what you are attached to. That was born in the world and is trying to keep your attention and keep you moving with that world. So you see, this is what's happening now. It's this is the split. The old world is saying, oh no, this is you guys, you're the cool ones because you understand all this, and here's all the data, and it's all secret, and we need to save the world, so we need you to come in this direction. And so this appeals kind of, even though all the spiritual words are used in some of these scenarios, this is what keeps your the fragmented part of your brain, the brain that you've been using to live here and survive here in this small context and small bandwidth. You're still allowing that to be your leader. And so you're easily drawn into this reality show, basically, because all this has ever been is a reality show, virtual reality. So those who are attached to what's going on in the world as we've known it will go with that world because they're invested in it and they want to see that through. And there's no judgment there. It's just that's a very different trajectory from where those who are expanding into the unknown are going. And that's exactly what it is. It is the unknown. Sorry, you're not going to get stories. You're not going to get characters. You're not going to go, oh, I'm actually Princess Lalalu from this planet and I'm going home. And no, if you start to hear stories like that and identities, that's indicative of the smaller fragmented piece of consciousness that you've been in. It needs identity. It needs a story in order to move forward. No, you don't need a story to move forward. In fact, in order to move with love and move with this light into expansion, let go of the stories, let go of all the identities, let go of everything that was part of keeping that old machine going, right? Feel your essence, tune into your essence, trust this vibrational love within you that will, I promise you, it will inform you as you step into expansion. And that's about all I can really say for now, because I feel like I was only going to do like 10 minutes. So just more and more and more starts coming. And I just wanted to share that with you because I feel like that's it's good news. It feels good to me that for a while I was just like, well, I guess I'm gonna die. I guess I'm gonna die because I couldn't feel what's happening. Everything's changed. What's happening? What's happening? And these changes have been happening like a couple times a month since the first of the year. So I've been really having to be on my game and really listening and really applying and using the skills that I've developed in this life to hear, to listen, and then to share with you. And I'm trying to start doing these more in video. But sometimes when the downloads come, it's so fast I have to type, and that's what happened in yesterday's blog post. So just doing the best I can to show up. Please, please, please do not give up hope. Even though everything around you, it just seems like, oh my God, we're all gonna die, you know, that kind of a thing. Yeah, this old construct is passing away. It is pulling away. And do you want to go with that? Or do you want to turn and allow the unknown to inform you? Throughout my life, that's what I had to do. I never knew what was happening. And that's part of what they were teaching me. I had to keep going within, because nothing outside could properly inform me about who these beings were and what was happening to my body and what are all these visions and what are, you know, all of it. We're being changed now. Allow yourself to be changed. Allow yourself to transform into who you actually are instead of what you were buried in as a piece of something that you could never fully understand. Why and who are you and where, you know, what's the point of this? Well, those who take advantage of these cracks, like I was saying, they will take that world and they will use this. This is an opportune moment for them. Whoever wants to go ride with them, to ride with the stories and the identities, they will, they're not interested in your soul. They're not interested in unification. They're interested in what they can harness from you, even if that means changing you from human form into something else. I'm going to leave it at that. Do not fear. Love is always here. Trust. Love you. Bless you. We're going to be okay. We're going to be more than okay. We're moving into something truly that we can celebrate and that will make sense finally. Take care.